We now return to Let's Play Rogue States. Okay, so I've decided, in between videos, I'm gonna start making some policy shifts, mostly towards capitalists. We really need to start bringing in more approval for capitalists, mostly to get our minister up in approval, because we need him in order to open up pipelines and start selling weapons to our neighbors. That's how we're going to get extra income to offset all the expenditures of raising a military. So what I really need to do is try and find ways. The disaster relief fund really is important, but I need to start thinking of other ways that we can raise our approval. This hurts labor rights by getting rid of unions. That also hurts labor rights by getting rid of, patriot approval, really. Lower minimum wages. I mean, we're just hurting labor rights all over the place. Low labor rights would help us even more with the capitalists, though. We don't really need to worry too much about that. But, on the other hand, it might cause a lot of dysfunction and disruption to society, which in turn could cause a little bit of a problem. GDP should be going up. I mean, any time now. We're doing okay on that, I think. We could also turn off the prayer week. Commercial and public buildings now stay open on prayer week. Fundamentalists and Karifi will not like us doing that. The Karifi are really who I'm more worried about. Mostly because they will try to secede later, and the more we do not piss them off, the better off we will be in the end. I mean, it's not essential. It's not essential that we have them. We don't need them necessarily to win. It's just, it's going to help. And, you know, the fundamentalist and Karifi factions are more likely to be domestic problems. So let's not do that. I could also really just lower all of these policies. I mean, now that we've got our support, all we really need to do is keep this in line, and then we could just go back down to limited disability and relocating of the homeless. Let's just keep that up for a little bit. See how that goes. Crime, does that actually cost money? No. Okay, we'll just keep those policies that way. So, there's that. Next turn, we will be getting a new minister, hopefully another capitalist. I think that's probably all we want to do right now. So we'll go ahead and end this turn here. The Russian ambassador sends the warmest greetings of President Karyev and has invited Basenji to join a Russian trade bloc, giving incentives for Basenji vendors to trade preferentially with bloc members. Joining will increase the value of your exports and decrease the value of your imports, but will negatively affect your relations with your neighboring states. Trade agreements already in effect will not be affected by this. So, we get big trade boost, big Russian boost. Okay. It increases value of your exports and decreases value of your imports. I'm assuming that means what it says, what I think. It's very straightforward. We get more money, we spend less, right? Right. Join the trading bloc. And now we get our new fundamentalist. A woman, though, actually. Surprisingly, our first woman minister. Who I guess will go back to being a defense minister, just to keep that military's loyalty high. We could go for intelligence breakthrough. Could switch over to that, because really, if all the defense minister is going to do is increase military loyalty, we've already got a loving military. I think we need kind of the intelligence ministry. We can always play this again if we need to swap over to a defense minister for, say, year 4 and 5. Let's help out with our intelligence. Okay. Uh-oh, now what? Faradin asks you to arrange a visit from the President of the United States in the next 10 turns. Are you fucking kidding me, Faradin? So in order to get the President to come over here, we need to have the American hotel, which we do have, and we need to have high relations with the United States. We don't have. We will not have. We are not ever going to get that. So basically, frickin' Ferrodin here, who's slowly climbing, is now going to be very upset with me at the end of 10 turns. So that doesn't help. That doesn't help me at all. He is, however, right now, 60% approval, which means to the regional map we go. What was it? Pipeline. At least 60 throughout the construction period. So why can't we do this? Requires Trade Commissioner service and Foreign Service Minister with at least 65% approval. Well, then why does he have to keep it 60? What the fuck? Now that's 6 turns, so next turn, I'm assuming, maybe not, we did make some choices towards better policies for the capitalists, and he jumped to 63. I think that's part of what happened there. So, in theory, he'll go up to 65. If he goes up to 65 next time, we'll be able to open up the gun cells around the world. That'll be helpful. So what constitutes loyalty? 65%? Yeah, I guess. Now see, this says that conflict with Trishikistan will result in the destruction of the pipeline. Now, does that mean conflict between us, or just conflict of any kind in Trishikistan? Because if that's the case, we definitely need to broker some peace there. Speaking of which, we need to help ourselves again a little bit there. So we have 10 turns to make this happen. It's going to take 6 turns to get the pipeline up. We'll have to hope we can start this on the next turn. Both ya.
Thank you.
Nothing to talk about.
Goodbye.
I feel like some of those options need to be expanded. I don't think there are enough ways to talk and change our relationships with our neighbors.
Goodbye.
I mean, the developers are still adding to the game. They added the whole Russian aspect to it just recently, so they could very easily expand further along those lines so that there's more to do on a foreign relations narrative there. So that would be cool. I guess we keep going. Now, I do have money. I could buy a plane right now. We'd be down to 27 mil. See, if the event... Let's wait one more turn. For once, I'd like to have enough treasury saved up for an event so that if something bad happens, I can actually afford to pay for it. I'd like that just once. Yeah, so let's... Is this enough for you, though? I want to see if that's your...
Our generals are concerned that we are
Oh, really?
vulnerable to it.
We're still vulnerable. Okay. Well, that is true. We only have 1 tank unit, and that's another thing I want to consider, too, is saving up my excess loyalty points for getting free tanks. Initially, my idea was to do what I'd already done, replace infantry with tanks. Infantry are fairly cheap, though, if we look at this. I mean, relatively, they are cheap. They're 2 million apiece per turn. But I guess when you factor that in, a tank brigade is stronger, obviously, and really only costs 1 million more. So to have both of these is excessive. Why wouldn't you just have all tank brigades, rocket batteries, and a few planes? You know what I mean? So I think maybe we'll just continue on with that. But I don't want to purchase these tanks. I probably will purchase a couple of rocket batteries, but I don't want to use money on these. I will use my loyalty. We're getting 11 per turn, so I could buy a couple tanks in a year. Probably not by next year, though. Not if I was planning to do Conquest. Certainly not going to happen this year. We're just not going to be able to afford that this year. We're not going to make enough money fast enough for that to happen. But yeah, we'll start looking at that. How's our intelligence? Do we have any intelligence? Okay, we obviously... Americans make up 50% of the tourist market here in Basenji. That's pretty cool. Vastly superior was their military strength. Of course, I think they always will be. But now that we've got Russia on our side, Still no intelligence. Still no intelligence. I wonder how long that takes. Is that something we can talk more about here?
I'm considering what other. We have.
Yeah, we have no idea. Okay, well, presumably, though, the military still loves me. Yes, they do. Good.
Thanks.
Good, good. Okay. Clandestine operations. Right, that's something I need to look at. 80 million infusion plus 16. So I'll definitely do this after I've used my income to start purchasing at least one plane and then a couple rocket batteries. It'll only take a few turns to get the rockets at 40 per turn. Of course, that'll go down a little bit because it's going to cost us like 2 mil per turn for upkeep. But whatever. Okay, end of turn. A former advisor to the late king is in exile somewhere in Babelistan. He appears to be in possession of some of our state secrets and could pose a threat to the success of our special projects, which we have none of. We could have him assassinated, which we don't have. Ask to have him extradited for crimes against our state. We don't have a loyal foreign minister. We can do nothing. This is going to hurt a project success. We don't have any projects going. I don't know if that comes in right now or if that's going to like extend throughout. If it'll be any project in the future. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Special project success less likely. Let's actually take a step in there for a minute. War has broken out between Tajikistan and Babelistan. Tajikistan, we might actually just want to attack them. They're kind of embroiled in war right now. Uh-oh. We definitely need to get that back up there. Let's go have a peek over here, back at our clandestine projects. No? Seems like likelihood is so it must have been for any current project. So that's good. That's good that it stopped. Stop that. Okay. Let's have a look. Although, nope, they are totally at war, and it looks like there's going to be a war there pretty damn soon too. So our minister did not make it to the next level. 64%. So he'll make it 65 next time, bastard, which is going to leave us with 8 turns to do what we need to do, which will be enough for the pipeline and all that, but damn. I was really hoping that would go somewhere a little bit faster. So we definitely need to talk about that. I'm thinking we can just go what we did last time, because that's how we do it.
Thank you.
Anything we can talk about? I don't think so.
Apology.
Goodbye.
Oh shit, that's not what I meant to do at all. Well, it's not like I was using all my turns anyway, right?
Thank you.
Discuss trades. Wow. Wow. Our electronics just fell. Wow. That's gonna hurt. Can we... Oh, garments, on the other hand, have gone way up.
Are you interested?
Taking into
24 million. Off of garments? I thought those were the cheap ones last time. Whatever, we'll take it.
Apology.
goodbye.
Okay. Talk to Tajikistan. Hope that they're still around at the end of all this. Oh, I almost ended that call. Didn't really matter. That doesn't count towards our... Oil is plummeting. Maybe we should buy oil just so we can have the capitalist bonus. Sell electronics.
Are you interested in negotiating a...
Only 8. Wow. The tables have turned on that. 133% of the market rate for 8 million. Oh my god. I mean, look at that. They're paying so much for this, and yet it only comes out to 8. Maybe we can get a better...
It's unfortunate we couldn't come to an agreement.
I hope that didn't really hurt us there.
Apology.
Goodbye.
Oh, that actually counted. Just going into that screen actually counted. So if I look through Babelistan, seeing if I can't get a better price through Babelistan... Well, the market is the market, right? I mean, it's not going to affect... I mean, that's the best we're getting, is my point there. Yeah, God, that just plummeted. It is kind of going up now, though, so maybe that'd be the way to go. It just dropped. Good God. But garments have definitely gone up. In fact, they are the only ones who are currently trending upward, possibly because of all the war. All the industry around us and our neighbors are kind of going towards the war efforts, not so much the industry. Okay, just kidding. We'll take it. I hope we still get the really, really good rate at it, though.
Are you
Taking it.
Yes, we do. Oh my God, that is abysmal. I mean, if that's painful.
apologies, but I must go. Let us speak again later.
Goodbye.
That was painful to me. An oil tanker has experienced a temporary but catastrophic failure, spilling at least 500 tons of crude oil into the sea, which threatens to contaminate several pristine beaches. The impact to the environment and to tourism is anticipated to be severe. Cleaning up the spill should be a high priority to mitigate the economic impact. We can commit $50 million from our disaster relief to clean up the fund, or from our relief fund to clean up the disaster. Sadly, we don't have enough at the moment to make everybody happy. We can spend $100 million from the treasury to manage the crisis, or just ask for foreign aid, which is going to upset everybody. And the most important thing from all this is the tourism. We're taking a hit on the tourism no matter what. So we may as well just go with the least amount of problems this is going to cause me, and just use up the disaster fund. Ouch. Yep. Ooh, damn! We were getting 6 mil a turn out of tourism. Working conditions in Basenji are poor. Okay. So, it finally came back around to hit me that the poor labor rights. So, gonna have to deal with that. We could bump that all the way up. Bump that down. Probably not a good idea there. Either way, we're hurting that. Jobs. We may as well mitigate it so it's only -1. We'll get labor back up. Although, again, why am I doing that? I mean, we can at least get them positive. I mean, low labor rights is a bit of an issue, but right now it's helping us with capitalist approval, which is essential to what I'm trying to do, right? Right. So, you can max it out like that. Now, this is hurting jobs a little bit. We do have some jobs to play around with. What we really need to work on is the GDP. I don't understand why that's not going up, unless I just have to turn off prayer week completely. Let's try that, so it's not hurting the GDP, and maybe these 2 things that are going up, these 3 things that are going up, should be able to counteract that so the GDP goes higher. We'll get that capitalist approval. So we do have 2 things taking away from the labor. Let's try that for a little bit. See what we can do there. That bash on my tourism did not help me. Did not do me any freaking favors. Okay, well, we've got our trades going again. Capitalists are now increasingly a part of the country. Oil spill disaster. Disaster relief fund pledged to recovery effort. Economy, a meaningful concern for today's Basenjis. Jobs and taxes. Okay, so how big now? 48%. They're almost back up to more than half. Well, I mean, they're almost to half. We should be aiming for the half point before we go looking at more than half. So what else? What else? Well, okay, let's go to the situation room. Let's buy ourselves a plane. It's going to take out 5 per turn to hold on to that. I could also do that, but I don't want to do that. Let's go back into here, and let's put 20 into my bank account. It's also very tempting to push this all the way up. I mean, we're hurting jobs, GDP, approval ratings. Let's see how far that actually hurts my approval ratings if I do that. I'm curious. Although now liberals are kind of down again. I can always buy approval though. Speaking of, yeah, let's keep it that way. Speaking of, let's have a look here and see how much we've pocketed. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes! I almost completely forgot and went to the next turn. We're halfway to free tanks. Neighbors. Let's start. What the hell? Oh, okay. Now will let me turn it on. You will receive relation penalties with countries in conflict with the recipient of your weapons and training for several more turns. Oh. So... okay. So I guess to prevent them being upset with me, we first need to broker peace. Can we get this turned on right now? Spend 3 mil a turn, because this isn't costing me anything, right? This is 3 mil a turn. Ooh. Where did that come on? Because I clicked that and then... I don't know. Anyway, 3 mil a turn for 6 turns. We need to do this now because as soon as what's-his-face doesn't get his way, he's going to be really upset. So we'll construct an oil pipeline. Hopefully that does not get destroyed while the conflict is going on. Peace talks. I guess we'll have peace talks with you as well. You are currently in conflict and about to have another conflict. This is a freaking mess. Yeah, damn. Thing is, too, well, we'll have turns. Hopefully the peace process will have some effect by the time we need to use my foreign minister to get myself small arms. Now, I wonder if I turn that on and then my minister is no longer loyal, is that going to automatically turn it off? I guess we'll have to find out. But, nonetheless, having 6 mil a turn just for selling weaponry is nice. Sell weaponry to percents for what does that even mean? I don't know. Turn over. A popular cleric is blaming our high divorce rate on government's reluctance to fully embrace the literal values set in the old ways. Criticism of the government is unacceptable. Have him imprisoned. He may have a point. Let us implement policies to make divorce an unattractive option. It's up to the clerics to enforce the values upon the people, provide them with 30 million to expand flock. Or I'm not interested in your unscientific views of these so-called clerics. Now this will hurt my minister as well, who is currently my defense minister, but they're also not a big deal at the moment. We don't really need to worry too much about their approval at this point. You know, buying one of those other degrees to increase liberals all the way up might just help solve this problem altogether for not having everyone up. It's okay. I'm not interested in this. You know, it's funny because I had initially said at the outset of this Let's Play that I kind of wanted to cater to the fundamentalist and Karifi side of this. But, I don't know. Should I? See, it says fundamentalists, but I kind of feel like the fundamentalist faction approval also has impact upon the Karifi approval. And this would also probably help a little bit with my minister. Okay, he may have a point. Let's implement policies to make divorce an unattractive option. Oh no.
Excellency, do you have a moment?
Yes, what is it?
Our hospitals are filling with cases of a highly contagious new flu virus, labeled M2H1. It kills 1 in 4 infected patients, and 341 deaths and almost 1,000 new infections have been reported to date. The WHO is declaring the disease an epidemic with potential global repercussions. The transitional government must take fast action to control panic, safeguard the economy, and adopt proactive policies to prevent the further spread of this disease.
Where do we start?
We need to stop migration to and from Basenji, shut down the borders at any cost.
That will be devastating to our economy.
We will need to ensure we have state-of-the-art research facilities available at our university, and hire the best doctors from overseas.
That will be costly.
And most importantly, we need to ensure the WHO gives us the resources we need to contain the outbreak. That means maintaining a good relationship with the UN.
Anything else?
Luck, Your Excellency. We will need some good luck.
So, the game's crisis has finally hit us. This is the epidemic crisis. We've obtained a 50% approval rating with the United Nations. That's good. We're going to need to close all borders for 5 turns. So even though we have all of this time remaining, in order to actually get this done, you'd need to close borders by here. So it only has to be for 5 turns. We also need to build a university and hire the cantankerous genius doctor from America. So it's a good thing I have not yet gone down the school route and gone with the religious schools, because we would not have access to university. But buying university, buying hospital, buying the doctor, that's all going to cost me money because it takes away from income. It's got upkeep. I also don't have a lot of money at the moment to just blow on all that stuff because we just bought a fucking warplane. So, at least it's not an economic crisis. That's much more costly. But I would have been in a better situation to pay for it. Another probable reason for this incident, as opposed to any other, is, well, first of all, the fact that we don't have a hospital, but also probably that we're not really having a lot of high support for people. I'm guessing. The condition of living might be a little bit low in Basenji. But I'm willing to bet it's more that we just didn't have a hospital and a good, healthy health care system in place. Okay, well, that's a good place to end it. We'll deal with the crisis next time.